Hey sightseers, Sightseeing Sally here. Marty's in the truck. We are back in Texas. We're in northern Texas, specifically Skellytown, checking out a forgotten town here. And if you say Skellytown real fast and with the right accent, it almost sounds like skeleton. Skellytown has a population of about 500 people or so, according to their population sign. At one time, population was a lot higher, back when oil was booming in this area, and Main Street was a lot more happening than it is today. Here you can see an old Skelly gas station that was refurbished at one time. It's got signs on it saying Sun Oil Company, Continental Batteries, and Texaco Fire Chief gasoline. There's even this old thermometer for New Grape soda pop, and it still works, showing the temperature just under 80 degrees, which, according to our truck thermometer, is accurate. Now, from what I was reading on Skellytown, back in the day, there used to be a number of machine shops here on Main Street, and this building here, with its double doors, kind of reminds me of one. While the one next to it, with its overhang, was likely an old filling station. You can actually see the spots where the gas pumps would have been. I imagine with the double overhead doors, probably also offered your basic mechanic repairs. Somebody here has a sense of humor. We're going to take a quick walk up to Roosevelt Street before we head up to the southern end of Main Street. According to the historical records online, Roosevelt Street was also a commercialized street here in Skellytown back in the day. You can see for the most part, Roosevelt Street is now residential, with the exception of a church, the fire station, and the water tower that sits here. I'm back up on the south end of Main Street, and there are quite a few old facades, old buildings here left over from back in the day. But before I show you those, I wanted to share with you something I found interesting about Skellytown's history. See, back in 1926, Skellytown, as it stands today, wasn't here. It was actually non-existent. Not too far from here, there were 3 oil encampments: Skelly, Roxana, and Nolette. In late 1927, the 3 towns decided to come together as one because the railroad was coming. And rather than have 3 separate towns being isolated from where the railroad was coming through, they brought it here. They brought the towns here to Skellytown. According to historical accounts on the web, the old train station was located on the northern end of Skellytown. We drove up through there. We didn't find any remnants of the old railroad station. As I mentioned previously, on the south end of Main Street, you can find remnants of old buildings, relics from the past. According to the sign on this building, this is Skellytown's Rebecca's building from 1950. And according to its current owner, it was later turned into the electric company for Skellytown. Now, as you can see, it's been converted into a residence. This building looks pretty interesting. I wonder what it used to be. The sign now says Uncle Tom's. It has a picture of a coffee cup, which leads me to believe at some point it was a cafe, possibly a coffee shop. Now, it just sits here empty. Something I'm noticing about this section of Main Street is that these old buildings are all made out of cinder block. Considering we are in tornado country, because if you look around, you'll see tornado shelters in some of the yards. I wonder if that has anything to do with why they were made out of cinder block. This one here has brick facing added to it, which looks fairly recent. It almost looks like somebody's in the process of refurbishing it, which would be fantastic for Skellytown. And next door to that is the Skeltech CU, where people are worth more than money. Peeking through the window, you can't see anything. This is actually one of them two-way mirrors. So people inside can see out on the street, but I can't see in. And it kind of leads me to believe that maybe this building is still in operation. If you happen to know, if you're from Skellytown and you know if the credit union's open or not, let me know in the comment section below. Now, some people call Skellytown a ghost town, others call it a living ghost town, and still others call it home. And something I've been noticing as I'm walking through here is how friendly everybody is. And how you can hear all the birds just singing away in the background. Now, the other thing I had read about Skellytown is that it is in the, top 500 places to live in America? And I can see why. All around you've got these old relics from the past, like that old building there. And this one here has the faded remains of an advertising mural painted on it for Royal Crown Cola. That, if I'm not mistaken, is an old cistern. Over here we've got Skellytown's old public school building. From the looks of it, they're now using it as City Hall and the library these days. Now that's something really old. That vehicle there was used for the Stork diaper service. Who remembers that? Delivering diapers, cloth diapers, to your door. I mean, I'm old enough that, well, I ain't telling you how old I am, but let me tell you, that's really old. According to the historical accounts of Skellytown, back in the day they built a Little League baseball diamond. I believe the one that's in the background here might actually be the original ball diamond. Because if you look, you can see how rusted the fencing is, plus the type of structures that were built to hang the lights that would have lit up the field at night. Next door to it is a tennis court that looks like it's seen better days. And next door to that is the old football field. It hasn't been used in so long, it has all these purple flowers growing in it. Talk about bringing back memories. This reminds me of when I was in middle school and high school and going to the football games. You just sit here in the bleachers and cheering our team on. I wonder how many kids will have that opportunity going forward, seeing how much things have changed since COVID. Now that I've had my share of high school nostalgia, my trip down memory lane, let's go take a ride through some of the neighborhoods and see what other old relics we can find. There's an old relic now. I wonder how many of you recognize what this is. If you know what this is used for, let me know in the comment section below. If you don't, well, I'll give you a hint. It's used in playing a game, and that game involves something that cowboys are extremely familiar with. Oh boy, I just spotted something super awesome. You gotta check this out. How many of you remember playing on one of these? That's one thing I love about these old forgotten towns is a lot of them still have the old time playground equipment, stuff that I would have played on back when I was a kid, stuff that isn't kid proof or injury proof like the stuff that they have nowadays. I almost said crap, like the crap they have nowadays, but stuff is probably a better word. It's only crappy in my opinion because I feel like kids these days miss out on a lot of fun stuff that we got to do back when I was growing up because it's all been deemed unsafe somebody got hurt somewhere along the way and they decided to take it all away from them. But I digress. Continuing on, you can see some old relics in that backyard. This yard has a really cool old Coca-Cola machine and some old bicycles sitting out front. And an old Camaro sitting underneath the garage port. A couple old cast iron bathtubs here. That's a cool old car. It's a Ford Fairlane, right, Marty?
Yep, I think it is.
Special thanks goes out to all our fellow sightseers here on Patreon and PayPal. Without you, these videos wouldn't be possible.